we identified the Improvement Fund as a funding opportunity before. I think it might have been when the money was actually put out there as, hey, this is going to be particularly for this Improvement Fund. And we figured it would be a good fit for us, given the focus on systemically addressing work-related stress, taking a psych health and safety approach, essentially. At that point, we had just started building out FlourishDx, our product, and we thought, well, we know there's going to be 3 rounds of funding, so let's aim for round 3 to have our product ready for then. And fortunately, we were. We also needed a Victorian lead for our project, and we already had an existing relationship with the guys at Geelong Grammar School, their Institute of Positive Education. They are world leaders in the application of positive psychology within the education context, not risk management professionals or psych health and safety professionals. So it was great for us to go to them and say, hey, do you realize there's this whole other area, rather than just focusing on giving people skills to flourish, we can also look at, contextual work-related factors that we can also address using a risk lens in order to improve the condition so that people have that opportunity to flourish as well, not just put it on individual behaviours. And they really liked that. And there's a really good opportunity for us to collaborate on the project. So we providing the subject matter expertise from our end and the tool in FlourishDx, and them doing the on-the-ground implementation. And then we had some researchers from Monash University to conduct an independent evaluation. Now, Jen, I still reckon we're probably the most rigorous in terms of evaluation. We actually, with Monash, set it up as a randomised control trial and registered it as and registered clinical trial as well. I think, with the impacts of COVID, though, we're going to struggle to have enough good data, and it might end up being the qualitative data that ends up being the more valuable part of the data that we collect as part of the evaluation. But some of the learnings that we've gotten already are, whilst schools are really invested in teacher wellbeing, psych health and safety is new to them, so there does need to be a bit of training up front. We definitely did provide that to leadership teams and to wellbeing committees as part of the implementation. Going from collecting the data around the risks to developing action plans has been the stickiest bit, or the hardest bit to accomplish. I mean, it was always in our intention to have an action planning tool that would guide companies and leaders through the development of action plans to address identified risks through our tools. And that's just kind of cemented in our mind that we really need to fast track those features in order to bridge that gap between understanding what the main hazards are to what's actually a feasible intervention to address these identified hazards. If the goal is to make companies as self-sustainable as possible and not beholden to consultants, then we just need to have those tools built in sooner rather than later. Overall, it's been quite fascinating to work with, I think, about 30 schools as part of our project. Geelong's done a great job in doing all the hard, hand-holding, pushing schools through during COVID and all the lockdowns that have been in Victoria, pushing them through the different elements of the implementation. We're really hopeful that a lot of these schools have set up processes now that they can do as a cycle of continuous improvement now, versus feeling like they've just done a one-off activity.